us today. So thank you so much for spending your Wednesday evening with us. We are going to work through some common questions, some timeline things, and then give some opportunity for you all to ask any questions that you might have or anything that might be on your mind about looking forward to room selection. So thank you again so much for being with us. If we haven't had the chance to chat or meet at Experience Temple Day, my name is Ashley. I serve as the Director of Housing Operations in University Housing. So I work on all of the behind the scenes stuff and work on a lot of the things that you all see when you're in my housing. My colleague Deja is here, so I'll allow her to introduce herself as well.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening again. Happy Wednesday. My name is Deja. Ashley's my supervisor. I'm one of the housing service coordinators here in the office. I'm also at the ETDs if we haven't already met. I know there's one this upcoming Saturday. If anyone is planning on coming, yay, we'll both be there. But as a housing service coordinator, my specialties involve room changes, room swap, LLCs, and gender inclusive housing, athletics, and grad housing. So this is right up my alley.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. Okay, everybody. So we just wanted to start with some general timeline things. It looks like a few of my bullets didn't line up the right way, so sorry about that. But right now, the Living Learning Community applications are open and ongoing, and those will continue to be open through May 6th. We also have gender inclusive housing open and ongoing, and those will also close on May 6th. Roommate matching is also open and will remain open through room selection, but we do recommend you do that ahead of time. And we're going to walk through today how to find roommates, how to navigate those pages so that you feel really ready for room selection. This upcoming Monday, April 13th, is our priority selection for students participating in an LLC or gender inclusive. So for students who are already approved, that access is going to open this upcoming Monday, which is why we're doing the webinar today to make sure everybody is prepared and ready to go in and choose their room. Friday, May 1st, that is the big day. That is the big day for everybody. That is our Temple commitment deadline and our housing application deadline. So anybody that submits a housing application by that day is guaranteed a spot on campus, but housing selection works in order of application date. So the earlier you do it, the better, because that means you'll be earlier in room selection if you're not participating in the priority selection that opens on Monday. So the first wave is happening in April on Monday, and then the second wave of general selection happens in May. On Thursday, May 7th, LLC and gender inclusive selection is going to close. Anybody who hasn't picked a room by that point is going to be added into general selection for May. So please make sure that if you are approved for those communities, you're picking during this 2 to 3 week window. Don't forget that Wednesday, May 6th is going to be the last day that you can apply for those communities, as well as the priority deadline for any housing accommodations that you might need through disability resources and services. If you have specific questions about that, feel free to reach out to us at housing@temple.edu to make sure that you are ready and prepared for selection and to make sure that your housing accommodations are met. Looking ahead to May, anybody, again, not participating in the priority selection, the week of May 11th, time slots are going to be distributed. So anybody, again, that submits their application by that May 1st deadline receives a time slot to go in and choose for the week of May 18th. So we do give you a few days heads up so you kind of know when you're going to be going in. We're also going to do another Q&A that week to make sure that you're prepared. And then the week of May 26th, so that's going to be right after Memorial Day, is going to be open access for anybody that submitted a housing application at any point. So that's kind of what the next couple weeks in housing world looks like. So wanted to share that with everybody before we move on to some nitty-gritty details about the process. Okay, so getting into some of the details, I'm going to go over roommate matching and kind of how you go through and look for roommates. And then Deja's going to take it away and talk about the actual room selection process. Okay, so roommate matching, I just want to clarify a few things. Roommate matching is optional. So when we say roommate matching, we mean creating a roommate group of two, three, or four people that you create prior to room selection, and then you go through room selection as a group. So one person, whoever has the earliest time slot, or whoever gets in first on Monday, whichever process you're participating in, one person is the group leader and they choose on behalf of the group. So there is kind of some pros and cons there, right? If somebody else has an earlier time slot than you, that's great. That means you can kind of use their time slot. But it also means you're allowing someone else to pick on your behalf. So sometimes that can be, a risk. And it's really important that when you are making a roommate group, you're communicating clearly about those expectations and being on the same page about your room preferences. I also wanted to clarify that only about 50% of students create a group prior to room selection. So you can go through room selection on your own, and then whatever room you pick, there will be other people that also pick that room. So there might be people in there while you're picking, and you'll be able to see who that is. Or you'll pick first and then other people will kind of be added to the room later. So it doesn't matter if you do this beforehand or if you go through by yourself. That's up to you. So we just wanted to take a little bit of the pressure off of that, that it's only about 50% of students that do create a roommate group ahead of time. If you want to do that, we're going to go over the steps to do that right now. Okay. So just wanted to set some expectations there and hopefully take off a little bit of anxiety. So when you are working through roommate matching and trying to find it, number one, roommate matching is not going to be visible for students who don't have a housing application complete yet. So if you are working through and you don't see it, you need to make sure that your housing application is fully complete. And then you should see this screen, which I have a screenshot here, that says, congratulations, your application is complete. And you kind of see a couple different options there. Obviously, room selection is not going to be visible right now, but we're giving you a sneak peek as to what that will look like when that image eventually shows up for you. So right at the end of the application, you are going to see that roommate matching. It is not going to show up for incomplete applications. It is also not going to show up if somebody already has a room assignment. So for example, if someone is in a living learning community, they're selecting next week, they're out of the pool then. Their room assignment is over, their selection is over. They can't just be added to another group later. So it does restrict and give you the best matches possible. The first page in roommate matching does give you a little video overview. So you have kind of a sneak peek and can get some step-by-steps if that's a little easier for you to follow. On the next page, so there are 4 different ways that you can search for roommates. Okay. So just stick with me here. So the first way is to join an already existing group. So if you see there's a red circle in the bottom of this screenshot on your manage group page, that is the page that will tell you if you are in a roommate group or not. Okay. This is also where you will see if you got an invitation to join a group. That will also show up here. So the first way is that you can join an existing group. So if you know, hey, 2 of my friends created a group, they made it this cute name, like you can name it whatever you want, and you know you want to search for a specific group, you can just search for that specific group name and request to join it. Okay. The second option there, it's a little tough to see here, but it says search for roommates. So that is searching for roommates by name or by ID number. So that's what you're going to see in the second screenshot here that says roommate search by details. So this is a really good idea if you already know someone you want to live with. And this is also like the first 2 options are kind of like if you already have someone in mind, if you already know someone, you're already connected to somebody, these first 2 options are really great to use. Okay. When you are searching, it's really important to keep in mind that anything you see above 50% is considered a good match. That means that you are in alignment with your roommate on about half of the things that you indicated in your profile. So it uses the profile questions that you did in your application to kind of see who you're most in alignment with. Okay. So the search process here will restrict by gender, class, year, and if someone's already in an LLC, you're not going to be able to search for them unless you are in the same community. Okay. You also have the ability to uncheck yourself as searchable if you do not want to be in a roommate group and you do not want to get these requests. You can check that box in your profile in your application to be able to say, no, I'm good. I'm just going to go in by myself. Okay. So the other ways that you can search is called roommate search by profiles. So this is going to use the specific questions that you answered in your application to be able to see who else also answered similarly to you. So you can't put something in every single box, right? There's no such thing as like 100% match. So I think we just have to, balance our expectations there. But if you go in and say, like, what are my top two? Like, my top thing is quiet time. I got to have quiet time. I got to have my bedtime. So you can search by other people who also answered the same way. And that might be a good opening for you. The other thing that you can do is go to suggested roommates. So that is just going to populate anybody with a high percentage for you. So some of these matches here, it looks like it's showing 90 some. That's crazy. That's rare that happens. But so you can go through and just kind of generate whoever has the highest match according to our algorithm to you. And then you'll see there where it says add to group, or you can say send them a message, view their profile, see what they said, and be able to communicate with them. So anytime you get a message, that's going to be in My Housing, and it should also send you an email saying, hey, you have a message, log in to view it. So once you're doing this, you will be able to either add to an existing group or create a new group. So once you do that, it's going to be visible on your Manage Groups page, okay? So the requests that go out when you invite someone to join a group, so create a fresh group, or if you ask to join a group, those requests are going to expire in about 7 days. So it's important, just because you get a request, you have to go into My Housing and actually accept it. So you can see the difference here on the left side at the bottom. You can see that there's a request outgoing. So I'm a fake student in this system. So I sent a request to Leah and she hasn't accepted it yet. So you can still see that is outgoing and it has an expiration date on it, right? On the right side, you can see that Leah joined my group because I see a couple different options there for her. In addition, your time slots are going to be visible there when those are released so that you can kind of identify who has the first time slot and who should be the group leader. Okay? So I think that's all I had on roommate matching. So I just wanted to check in to see if there are any questions about this. I'm happy to take like 2 questions before we move on to actual room selection. So again, you can make a roommate group and go through room selection, or you can go through room selection on your own. So this next section is going to be applicable to anybody. Okay.
We do have one question or two.
Yeah, we have a
Or
couple questions popping up. Okay. So I'm going to answer these live. So the first three dibs. Okay. So there's a question here about, does gender inclusive get a time slot, or is it first come, first serve? That's a great question. So gender inclusive is just first come, first serve once the process opens next week on Monday. So if someone is approved for gender inclusive but doesn't pick for whatever reason, then they would be added into general room selection and get a time slot. So thank you for that question. There is another question about, what is an LLC? That's a great question. So an LLC, we have a lot of acronyms in here, so I'm so sorry if that wasn't clear. An LLC is a living learning community. So that is tied to an academic theme. We have a couple different options. I think there's 8 different options for new students. So Klein College has one, Fox has one. There's a couple different options for you where you live on the same floor as other people, maybe in your major or in your college. college. So you're taking classes together and you live together. So it's kind of a good opportunity to make friends and to kind of have additional connections with faculty. And then they also get some additional peer support. So that's nice. So Honors is an LLC. However, Honors does their selection in May. So theirs is separate a little bit. So if you are Honors, you will be getting specific information about that. But if you are approved for Honors, you can only roommate match with other people also approved for Honors. So if you don't want to do it and you would rather just participate in general selection, please complete the Honors opt out that is in your My Housing. If you have questions about that, email us at Housing. We'll walk you through it and get you set up. Great question about how far along in the process should we be? It's up to you in terms of roommate matching. So if you haven't found anyone yet, that's okay. I would say make sure to have, if you want to do this, make sure you have a roommate group confirmed before selection. So when you're going through selection, you should just be focused on that. You shouldn't be trying to mess with a roommate group at the same time. It's too stressful. So just word of advice, saying this with love. If you want to wait up until selection to try to figure that out, okay. That's up to you how long you want to wait, but don't do it at the same time as room selection because it just gets too stressful. And then circling back to what time will Gender Inclusive open on Monday, that's going to be 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So thank you so much for those questions. Deja is going to move things along and start talking about room selection. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Deja and then we'll leave some additional time for questions. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You're really paying attention and asking really good questions today. Take it away, Deja.
Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about room selection, and here is the overview. Okay. So here with the provided screenshots, you will see how to do room selection. So once you're actually done logging in from TU Portal to get to the My Housing application, you'll see the front home page that says Housing Applications. After hitting the button that says Academic Year Housing in My Portal on the top of the black banner, you will come close. You will see the academic year of this green box of the 26-27 school year. So this is the academic year you should be looking at. And here, your profile should already be completed / application. If you're being a new student, you signed the license, you paid the housing deposit, or we can waive it too. If you need us to ask, just email or call our office. We'll gladly waive it for you. And you need to complete your housing application. Once that is done, you'll click the red button that says Manage Application, and it'll take you to our next page, which is going to say Housing Application for Academic Year 26-27. What's next? So here in the boxes provided, you'll see, like Ashley said, for roommate matching, you'll see room selection, and then there's other things of quick links of if you haven't completed your student profile, which should have been already completed with your entirety of your application and selecting of a meal plan. Fun fact also, as a first-time new or transfer student, if you are living on campus, you are required to have a meal plan and the minimum is 12 meals per week. Next slide.
Yep. So I just want to clarify that room selection is not going to show up until it's your turn. So if you are approved for Gender Inclusive or an LLC that is not Honors on Monday, you will be able to see room selection if you're already approved for those communities. If not, it's not going to show up to you until your time slot. So if you log in right now, you're not going to see it. We're giving you a sneak peek so that you know what to look for. Okay. Thanks, Deja. All right. Next up. What do you do when you click the button?
So yeah, after clicking the button that says room selection, for those who are doing specialty in GIH, in this particular case, it will say specialty housing room selection icon is what appears for GIH or LLC. So obviously the red dot for specialty housing room selection, that is for anyone who's gotten accepted to an LLC. You will be able to see this. And then also same with being accepted into the GIH program. Room selection icon is what appears for students who are going to do general selection. And also it will only appear once it is in your time slot. So if you completed everything and precisely before the May 1st deadline, that's for general housing, but for people who did for this upcoming Monday for Gender Inclusive GIH, you will see this come up for you. Also, we have added, and it's really helpful, This video we have is extremely helpful. You can watch it as many times as you want. It gives a step-by-step clear indication on how to do the selection process as well.
Yep. I also just wanted to add that, oh, I lost it. Oh man. It'll come back to me. We'll circle back. Sorry about that. I had a thought about gender inclusive and then I forgot. That's okay. We'll circle back. Okay.
So here's on the next slide, they're going to give an overview of what happens with room selection, such as building, floor, suite, and room, bed space / roommates, and confirmation. So room selection. First is choosing a building. So we have several types of residence halls on campus. Majority of them cater to our first year freshmen / and/or transfer students. We have 1300 suite style, 1940 suite style, Hardwick Halls traditional, Johnson Hall traditional, Morgan Hall North apartment style, Morgan Hall South is apartment style, White Hall it's got cut off, so White Hall is also suite style for freshmen in order to live in.
Yep.
So
This is just a sample. Yep. So that you can see what the buildings will look like when you're in there. Deja, what does it mean if a building doesn't show?
if a building does not show, then that means at this current moment, the building is full. So
Oh,
as one of
okay.
our mottos is all housing is first come, first serve. So if you have a specific building in mind, we also encourage to have a backup plan just to be safe that if the building, when it comes time for your time slot, is not available, have a backup. It's never too long to have a backup. So once
Story.
you do pick a room or pick a building where you want to go, I'll take the example of it looks like it's being shown of Hardwick Hall, which is our traditional style housing. You are going to see a section that says select a room, time to select a room. We all can compare this to is like online shopping. Here it gives notes and instructions on how to go in and select your room. So in this case, in Hardwick Hall, you will see there's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Price range button that goes for how much the room rates will be, unit types, and also it includes the rooms that we have available as well. So here, and actually on the top two, gives the academic calendar of how long you would stay during the such and such academic year. So in our case, it would be 26, 27. But back to the floor plans of Hardwick, this looks like it says Hardwick 1070A. It gives you a rough sketch of what it looks like in the room. For in the case of
Yep.
Hardwick, it's a traditional style, so you'll see two beds, a desk and a chair, and the closet space. And also,
Yep.
what's nice about this
Deja,
is
so I blow this up a little bit on the next slide. So I
okay.
just wanted to reiterate that if you're trying to search really quickly, all of the unit types are checkboxes on this page. So in all of the buildings that are available will show up as well. So you don't need to like go out, come back, go out, come back. You can search really easily from this page. Okay. So zooming in a little bit, this is what the full picture will look like. So go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so thanks, Ashley.
It's a
So yeah,
little bigger. It's a little bigger
yeah.
to see. So I don't want you to strain your eyes.
It's okay. So, like I said before, so this is an example of Hardwick Hall. On the first top rectangle, it gives the residence hall and the room and the bed. So, in this case, HA stands for Hardwick Hall. 1070, that means the 10th floor, room 70, and A means the bed. So, beds could go up from A to D. Then you see the quantity. So, you see two beds. So, there'll be an icon of how many beds are in the unit. Obviously, everyone's favorite is the price. That's how much you're paying for the per academic semester. So what you pay in the fall, you will pay in the spring. In this case, it's 47.88. Again, Hardwick Hall. Um, this should say traditional style. Yes, it's a suite traditional style hall. The unit type is C. Bedroom again, HA 1070A. Again, room type double, two-person, part of the Science and Technology LLC. So every LLC, like Ashley had mentioned, which is a living learning community, there are specific wings, specific floors, and specific residence hall to where a certain LLC is located, i.e., the example of the College of Science and Technology is on the 10th floor in Hardwick Hall
Yep. In this example, yes. Yep.
in this example.
Yeah.
Also, another, go ahead, Ashley.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
agreeing with you. Yeah.
In another box too at the bottom, this is important too. You can see roommates. So for example, say if Ashley already selected a room in the LLC and I was my time to go and select, if I can go in and I would see if she's currently in the room. So in this case, someone is in the room. Example is Amir. He had already picked this room. But also don't be forewarned and don't get nervous either. If you do not see someone hasn't already picked a room, that does not mean that it means it's currently vacant at the moment. Students matriculate in over time. So over time, you should see someone's name in a certain space and you'll have a roommate because you'll have liked a certain interest, which is that LLC.
Yeah.
And
And then
another
the
thing is,
other side, yeah, I included the other side just to show what it looks like if they are trying to pick a suite that you have to, if you have like a four-person group, you have to add both bedrooms. So can you explain what it means between like A and B and that it's important to look for the same number? Can you kind
of
of go
course,
through that for us?
sure. So, like in the beginning too, it tells you a reminder of like how many beds or how many people are in your roommate group. So back again, if you're doing roommate matching and you created a roommate group, and by doing so, whoever has the earliest time slot as the roommate group leader, whoever you assign in the group, you are giving them the sole responsibility to go in and pick a bed that can accommodate however many people are in your group. So in this case, it's basic math. That say, for example, me and Ashley were in a roommate group and she had the earliest time slot. When it would come time for her to select, for example, we were in the looks like this is the engineering LLC, we should go, Ashley should go in when it's her time to go in and select and find a space that has two empty units. So she needs to go in and pick a space that has two empty beds to assign not only herself, but me as well. And also, this
Yeah.
is important too. Okay, unless you have something to say,
No, no,
Ashley.
no. Just so, like in this example, I would want to be looking at Hardwick 1073 because it says there's no roommates in there. Where this
Mhm.
other suite, there's a person already in those rooms. So if I'm in a two-person roommate group, that's not enough space for all of us to fit. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And this is important too. Everyone must know this too. If when you pick a room, there will be a timer that will start a timer that starts your timeout session on picking a room as well. You have 10 minutes. So say if Ashley again picks that room in Hardwick and picks that room in Harbor. That means it's 10 minutes in her car. If she does not actually assign either her or herself or myself into that room, then the room goes back to the general population. Because again, all housing is first come, first serve. I'm ready for the next slide.
Ready for the next one. Okay. Letting that sit.
So
Okay.
So, like I said before about that timer and countdown coming of 10 minutes, the next page is the best part, which is room selection. Room selection provides bed space page, adding in a roommate. You must select a bed space for each roommate in the group using the drop-down menus. I'll say
Yes,
that
it
again.
won't let you go forward unless you grab everybody in your group.
Correct. So if you have 5 people in a group, if you're in an LLC with 5 people, you need to make sure you are assigning everyone in the group before you do checkout. So
Mhm.
if everyone is not assigned, then you know what you needed to do if they can't let you to proceed going forward.
You're
And
going to
also
get an
you
error. So that's really important. Yep. This is also a great thing if you're in a four-person group and you want to choose an empty apartment. This is the page where you would say, oh, these two people are going to be in this bedroom together, and then these two people are going to be in this bedroom. So this is the place that you would do that. But you really only have to worry about that if you're in like a four-person group. In a two-person group, you're just kind of deciding which side of the room.
Yes. So then, like per the screenshot, you see Ashley here. Ashley would, by selecting, you would see the bed space and then either 362A1 or 362A2. So you have a choice. And again, like Ashley said before too, you will receive an error if you do not assign everyone spaces. So that's especially again, if you are the roommate group leader, it is your responsibility to make sure you're doing this
Yes.
correctly. Please,
People
please,
are
please,
putting
please.
their faith in you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, if you need to call our office during the time on Monday or the entire time, if you are confused, our student staff are highly trained and highly educated to help assist in any matters or questions. So don't feel nervous or feel like you don't or intimidated. We will help you. We're here to help you at any shape or point or time.
Yep.
And
We talk about this all day long, so don't be shy.
and also, oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so the last page, Dage, we're just confirming, right? Making sure that all of our selections are correct. This is the
correct.
last one.
So once you're done again assigning everyone to this space, you will get a confirmation email. So this confirmation email is key too to make sure you pick the correct residence hall, you pick the correct bed type, you pick correct I'm getting tongue tied. You pick the correct room. So you'll see an overview, your name, the bed space, and also the rate. The rate is also the final total or lump sum of what you'll be paying for the whole academic school year. And then, like it says before, if this is correct, you will hit finish and continue, and below will complete your booking. Please review choices before proceeding. Because once you do it for finish and continue, an automatic email is sent to everyone that you have completed this task. Again, and this is important too. If you're in a roommate group too, so if Ashley and I were in a roommate group and she picked housing for the both of us, you should expect to get a confirmation email on the behalf of whoever is that roommate group leader to go in and pick housing. So if you do not get a confirmation email from your roommate group leader, then that means something has happened and you should definitely
Yeah,
speak with that
something's
roommate group
wrong.
leader
Yeah.
to figure out what happened.
Reach out to us for sure. Yeah, that's a great tip. Okay, so once you click assign and finish, you're done.
Yes.
Yay. So it's like a stressful 10 minutes, but it's not too bad. Okay, and I think Deja, you already mentioned about meal plans. So those will be automatically added for folks after they um are finished with room selection. And then if you want to upgrade, you can. There is a limit though. You can make changes up through the start of fall semester. We also don't want people to cancel. Obviously, we want as many people to live with us as possible. But if you do change your mind and you no longer want to live on campus, you can cancel without penalty up until May 31st. After that time, fees are going to apply. Okay? So if you do change your mind, make sure to do it in that window.